Look at the kicks. Look at the kicks. Look at the kicks. Look at the kicks.
Welcome to the sneaker closet where we talk the flyest kicks. Find out when they're about to drop and find out what the value is. Matt and Johnny going in. Make sure you're tuning in. Every week they talking sneaks, a new pair that I gotta get. Welcome to the sneaker closet where we talk the flyest kicks. Find out when they're about to drop and find out what the value is. Matt and Johnny going in. Make sure you're tuning in. Every week they talking sneaks, a new pair that I gotta get.
Welcome back to the closet. I'm your host, Matt Roach, re-energized after our longest hiatus of all time. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm wearing the 4-5. I got my Chicago Bulls Mitchell and Ness shorts on right now. I thought about this last night.
I only got some champion shorts on, so you're beating me right now.
It's because you're a bum. You're not wearing the 4-5. I'm not to play games with you.
Oh, man.
I'm just ready. And then I got my trusty co-host, JP, Johnny Pena, in the flesh.
Hey, yo, it's been a minute, man. It's been a wild minute. Everything, I think, and it was in due time, right? Like, everything started to apparently look on the bright side of, the spectrum of things, of getting back into the office with people, going to social gatherings. We'll see. We're not totally there yet, but
Yeah.
I'm living, man. I'm blessed to see another day, blessed to do another episode with my farmer Matt. What else do I call you? Lego Matt. A whole bunch of Matts.
Lego Matt. What are you doing over here? Look at you. But I feel like I'm re-energized. I'm ready to get this going every few days.
Yo.
We just got to get it. We just got to get back on track. I'm just ready.
It's a movie.
Oof, I don't know if the competition's ready.
Nah.
Oof, man. But clearly we missed pretty much the entire month of sneaker stuff. And a ton happened. It feels like a lot happened and absolutely nothing happened at the same time.
No, it was a lot, but I don't think it was.
It's a lot and nothing at the same time.
There was some things to talk about. I'm not gonna say that there wasn't. There was some things to talk about, but there wasn't a lot of things that were like pleasing to the eye. Not saying that's why we didn't record. You have life. That's going on. You know what I mean? And
Life's been a lot lately.
Yeah,
We're just trying to. But now we're back in the flow. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's good. That's all that matters. It's just about just getting. And you kind of this year, if anything's taught us a lot about perspective.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact.
We're back better than ever. It's been a hard year. We say this almost every episode that it's been hard. But we got an action-packed episode to get with, and I just want to kick this thing off with a bang. Just a bang, bang, bang. The Kobe relationship with Nike up in the air at the moment. We don't know what's going to happen. Will they come back? Will they won't? Will they start up their own company? What will happen to all the past Kobe drops? Nobody knows. But rumor is there's a couple drops left, and one of them, that Kobe 6 Mamba Forever. Oh, honey, it's just too much. It is.
Who are you, Fred Stanford?
Oof,
Elizabeth, man. I'm coming, Elizabeth.
You cannot tell me that those are not crispy. I mean, I love the Kobe 6 to begin with, but when you put that black and white,
I mean,
beautiful.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It's definitely a tribute. It's definitely something you can't go wrong with. And I think the only thing that really throws me overboard is that a lot of people aren't talking about the braille that's on the side of the shoes. Honestly, I think that's a super dope touch to the shoe in general, especially because, Mamba, he had fans of all ethnicities, all shapes, sizes, whatever you want to, put identifiers out there. I don't want to say too much, but, even with, people that use Braille on a regular basis, and, these are things that are needed, right? Like, you may not know it, but there are certain applications on cellular devices, iPads, you name it, there's something that gives you that assist, right? So for something like this, one is paying tribute, two, it's in tribute to both his daughter and himself, and it's just all around. It's a Oreo shoe for me, and I like it. There's nothing wrong with it at all.
I'm here for it because I've always loved the Kobe 5 and the Kobe 6. Kobe 5, 6, and 9 have always been my favorites. I always
Right.
loved them. I thought they were dope. I played in them as a kid. They're awesome. And by I say kid, I mean I really wasn't that young. God, I'm getting
But
old. You know what I
I've
mean?
never
But like,
seen his logo on things though. That's the thing. I've never seen his logo on things.
to be honest, I've never paid attention. For like always
Really?
paying attention to the details. Because there's his logos on so many things. I don't really like think about it because like when you buy his shorts or his shirts or anything, I had so many things that had the Mamba logo on it.
I've never owned a piece of anything that had his
Really?
logo on it.
Like
Yeah.
a pair of shorts or just a T-shirt?
No. The first time, and I guarantee you I am not lying, I saw his logo for the first time on his daughter's basketball jersey. That's the first time that I saw the logo.
Really? You
Yeah.
probably just didn't notice it. It's one of those things that
Probably.
it kind of
It's
blends
real
in.
yeah, it's really discreet. Like you can't really tell what it is until you put a face to a logo. That's
I think
basically
this
it.
pair, if it's the last one that comes out and this relationship doesn't move forward, they should release 3 million pairs, 4 million pairs. They should not be something that's hard to cop. I'm a staunch believer that anything that's in tribute of somebody else should never be limited. I think you should let people reflect on the way that he made you feel when you watched him play or how he impacted your life. I do not think those should be limited. I think that everybody should have a chance to get a pair because he meant so much to so many people all around the world and everybody loved him for a different reason, and these should just be and they'll make a gajillion dollars. It's not like I'd personally, if they were like unlimited, I'd probably cop 2 pairs just so I had them. 2, maybe even 3 pairs, so I always had a pair on ice.
Well, the way that I look at it, right, is the contract talk came up, and with
Yeah.
inside that contract, we don't know what that contract entails. Is it till the end of the year? Is it till January 2022? And now more times than not, and most of you can agree or disagree, but I think it stays true in the fact that we have been seeing more Kobe's release now more than ever, and they've been releasing because of the contract itself. They have to get
Yeah.
certain amount of pairs out the door because they
Well,
don't want to
the
sit on it.
contract technically ended, but we don't know if there was addendums in there because of COVID. There could have been signed things where they could have had extensions on certain pairs that were scheduled to release that may have been delayed.
Right, right,
So,
right.
like, I to be honest, I don't think this pair was ever planned, but you also don't know if this shoe in this colorway was always planned and then they turned it into a tribute colorway and they added Gigi's number and did some other things. So I don't know what was planned, what wasn't planned. You know, there could have been a certain number of shoes that were scheduled to release. They were going to come no matter what. I don't know, and we don't know the specifics. We know it's over, but we don't know what was grandfathered into it because of the pandemic and things like that. So it could go through the end of the year, like you said. There could be 2 pairs. It sounds like there's only gonna be 2 pairs because I believe Vanessa put something out saying there's, like, 2 pairs left or something like that. I saw one that was, like, a lilac colorway that they said was the EYBL, but I don't know because I saw another colorway for that same shoe, so I think because Nike hasn't put anything official out, nobody truly knows. People have had them in hand, but you know that I always take that with grain of salt, but to me these are fire and they should be unlimited and Nike would clean up because if they sold 4 million pairs, all 4 million would sell. If they sold 5 million pairs, all 5 million would sell.
Oh, without a doubt.
So just take it as a cash grab, but let people honor him in the way they want. Like let his jersey, like you could get his jersey on clearance racks 10 years ago. They made so many Kobe jerseys. You could get them. You could walk into like CVS or Dwayne Reed and get a Kobe jersey. I'm talking anywhere you could get a Kobe jersey.
That's true.
You go to a bakery and they probably had a Kobe jersey 10 years ago. I mean, his jersey was everywhere. And now they want to be like, "Oh, it's limited release." Get out of here. That's ridiculous. You could buy it anywhere. Anywhere. I even
and
got
now
one on the clearance racks that wasn't even my size a long time ago just because I wanted one.
and now everything is just so limited. Like for
Yeah.
what? For what?
It's like that stuff's ridiculous. But a shoe like this, I get they want to limit the Grinches. I get they want to limit a lot of the other ones. But this one, there's no precedent. There's no, oh, he did this in this pair. No. There's no, just let people have it. It's kind of like how I felt about the white Yeezy 350s. If you want everybody to have a pair, just make one colorway, unlimited, always available, and people will be fine. Like, just do that. But I am here for it. I am anxiously awaiting, and I wanted to come out with a bang because I love these. These are a token fuego, fuego, fuego for me.
I mean, we're talking about the Kobe shoes, right? I also wanted to put out there, man. It was definitely amazing seeing that Hall of Fame induction, and just hearing his wife speak and just hold her composure. Like that was it was just like kind of reliving that moment again and just thinking
Yeah.
about it. And I mean, a little story, I think I told this a couple episodes ago, but like, finding out about his passing, I was at a soccer game. I was playing soccer and it was halftime, and somebody just, you know, same thing that happened to Shaq with his nephew when they were working out in the basement, because he tells this story all the time. It was just like me playing soccer, having a good time, and then you hear something so tragic, right? So, what better way, to show your appreciation? And I think just all around international, each country showed real good support and love for Kobe while he was a player. When he passed away, it was like somebody that you missed. It was like somebody, like he had some type of family connection with you, and you didn't know him from a hole in a wall, but you loved the game he played. He played with so much passion, so much grit. And what better way to go out with a bang than to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, to have these shoes release so frequent now. And I can't wait to see what is going to happen going forward, because I don't think this is going to be the end. At least I'm just being optimistic about it. I really want this to continue to flow. You know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
you may not be able to cop 1, 2, and 3 that release, but you might be able to cop the fourth that comes out. You know what I mean? So it's just having that type of connection to the shoe now, since he is gone. But
Yeah.
that connection to that shoe gives you that feeling of like he's still around some way somehow. So I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
That was great. And of course, I took a big L on the undefeated Kobe the fives. That was, I never hit on undefeated. I don't even know why I have an account there. It's like, what's the point? Like, I have a better chance of getting struck by lightning than hitting on the undefeated website.
I only hit on the undefeated Air Maxes, the pack that they dropped, and I was going for it
You hit
because
on
the
those?
little, yeah,
Oh, I never hit on those, and I never expected to hit on those.
I
But
was surprised.
there's also still, so there's technically 3 that are rumored to release. There's the white and yellow bottoms. They're
Okay.
called the Pop 6 Protros, and then there's this EYBL pair. But I don't think that'll get a general release because that's usually for like the youth basketball league that gets those. So maybe that'll just, or maybe that could be in the contract where like kids will still get him for that league.
I mean,
Um,
they dropped the other EYBLs.
yeah, but I don't know what the total amount was or I didn't see a lot of those pairs anywhere, so I don't
Yeah.
know if there was like a thing to it. But that's the lilac one I was telling you about. So I don't know what's going on with those, but those are the 3. But I think the 2 that are going to get released is the yellow bottom and the Mamba Forevers, which I'm totally fine with. I'm cool with that. Um, so I'm
Either
excited for
or.
it. Yeah, but there's also some other stuff too. As one career's ending, we got a couple people we want to talk about where their careers are just taking off. We got, the first one we'll go into is, talking about really taking off is Trey Young. He wore his first signature shoe on his first playoff game, and I'm happy for him. I truly am. I'm excited for him. Clearly, he brought his A game because there was ice in his veins when he played. It was like he was unstoppable, and it was so funny when they turned to Spike Lee when he hit that shot like right at the
Yeah.
end, and he was
That
like, "Why are you being quiet now? Like you're all quiet now. Like
yo.
what's going on?"
Because Spike
Uh,
Lee's so energetic and he's so into the game, they have to tell him
you
to
know you're
sit
savage.
down.
You know you're savage when you look at Spike Lee and you say that because that man, whew, it's like going into either if you go into the Knicks and you look at Spike Lee, or you go to a Lakers game and you look at Jack Nicholson. You don't do that. Those two are savage. Like they bleed for their teams. Like
No, that's a fact.
those two are some of the most diehard fans. And the guy from Toronto. That man, wow, they always call him the Turban, but I don't know his like real name. The guy, he's like the greatest guy ever. The guy that sits
Mm.
he sits behind the hoop, and he like does so much for like Toronto. He's like the most like amazing guy. He owns like a ton of like I think car dealerships or something.
Are you talking
Uh,
about Drake? No.
no, no, this guy no, actually he's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. I
Is
forget
he
his
really?
yeah, like he's amazing. He does like so much for the community, like the kids, like
I don't know. I
he
don't
was
know.
well he used to be memed. They used to Anav, I don't know how to say his last name, Bashia. But
Yeah,
he's like the
way
guy that
way
you'd know
before
him if
my
you saw
time.
you'd know him if you saw him. He's been at every Raptors game his entire life since they started.
Okay.
He's like the best. So he owns tons of car dealerships. He does so much for kids. So you know I'm always here for the kids. Um, but those three guys, man, do they love their teams. But Trae Young, savage. I'm happy for him. It's a great way to start your career at MSG. I mean, to go in your first playoff game and do it at MSG, that's impressive. His shoes, though, you don't get a clean look. It's not like there's been official images out. We've only seen what they took pictures on court. I like them, but they don't feel much different than Donovan Mitchell's.
I was
They
about to say the same thing.
they
You hit the
feel
nail on the
very,
head.
very similar. And that's the one downside of Adidas where I think Adidas basketball shoes are actually awesome. They are
Mhm.
great to play in. I've loved the aesthetic the last 4 or 5 years, and I've really loved the Donovan Mitchells, the Crayola line, like all these things they've done. I'm here for it. They did the Marvel ones, and I actually thought they did a good job with the collabs. And I'm pretty hard on them sometimes about being lazy. But I thought they actually like put some thought into those, and it made sense because they call him Spider. Like I get it, and I love it. But these I can't see, so I'm gonna hold back like my full like thoughts. But
I won't. If you want me to go, I'll go.
all right, hit him with it because I'm still here for it. Like I'm still pro Adidas hoops. I just need them to get a little bit more outside of their comfort zone because they all look too similar. From Harden to Donovan Mitchell to well, actually Dames. I will say Dames are more original. I don't think anything looks like Dames for the most part.
It reminds me of the low Crayola pack that Donovan Mitchell
It
had
does.
that came out. It's a low version of that. And I can go off of two pictures. So the first picture that does these shoes justice for me as to why I would never wear them, even if I was in the NBA, is just for the simple fact that Trae Young, I believe, was hurt for one of the games that he played in because he I don't think it was a playoff game, but I think it was like close to the end where obviously he didn't have his signature shoe, but
This is the
it
first time he wore them.
yeah, this is the first time he wore them, but the reason why these pictures do it justice for me is because Trae Young is wearing his ankle braces, and when you look at the shoe, there's no ankle support. So when I look at it, I'm like, you have Trae Young. He's a phenomenal basketball player. He's quick. He's agile. When he's making those quick turns, when he's running around, you need that ankle support. Because if not, you're going to have him out for the rest of the season next year.
But do you think that they designed these shoes so that his larger ankle braces can still fit? I mean, there could be a reason why they're designed that way. They could be designed so that his ankle brace still fits that may not fit on a high top. You know, they could be designed to fit a specific thing, but also low tops are far more popular now. They're low tops and mids are far more common than, high tops, and it's just been like that. There's been a slow transition, and some people still do really love high tops, but I don't really see many kids wearing high tops as much. It's just become from a sales perspective, I think that's why they're doing it.
Right.
But this particular pair could be designed with I mean, they always design the shoe with the player in mind. But then at the same time, they also design it for the general public.
Yeah.
So I think there is something to be said for that fine line between the two. And Trey could have had a specific design in mind that he needed, that it had to be a low top. But that being said, if it's a low top, it doesn't need to be identical. It
Yeah.
doesn't need to be identical to a Donovan Mitchell or very similar to a James Harden, which I think that was just well. The hard part about James Harden is he's an amazing basketball player, but he's also very polarizing, and he's hard to market. He's
Yeah.
just not as he was in
That's
a
for
tough
sure.
he was in a tough market. Houston is a harder market to market from. You it's easier when you're on you know a big market team. And not that Houston's a small market by any stretch. Houston's a huge market, but in terms of just global, you know, like people see more. Even though the Knicks have been bad for the better part of the last 2 decades, they're still more recognizable than the Rockets. So when you're in a large market like that's very globally recognized, there's a difference. Um, so I think that's hard, but I also think James Harden is a tough guy to market. So I think they Adidas has turned the corner. They put a lot of money into the right people. And I think Trey Young, Donovan Mitchell, they're younger stars. I think they have a really promising future. I think they've put their money in smart players, very similar to what I think Nike's doing as well. I think they're throwing money at smart investments.
Yeah, I would say so. I wouldn't think that Adidas is doing the wrong plays. I think they're just doing it more conservatively
Well, they took a
for
huge
the
loss on Derrick Rose. They took a huge, huge loss.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
probably hundreds of millions of dollars. They paid out his full contract, which I respect. They never cut him. They could have. They didn't. I respect that. And they
and look at
also
where he's at now.
but the other thing is too is they couldn't truly cut him because then you don't attract big stars down the line. Because then
Yeah,
it shows you don't stand by your players. And
true.
that's a really bad because to be honest, and Derrick Rose surprises me because he is loved. Everybody loves Derrick Rose. He's like the greatest comeback story ever, and people love him. And he's amazing. He's in New York, but yet his shoes never make anybody's conversations. And Derrick Rose is very marketable. Everybody likes him. He's a great player still. He's got a great
Yeah,
story. He went from MVP, series of injuries, and now look at him. He's back strong, helping bring a team to the 4 seed in the East
that
in a
hasn't been
competitive
there
year.
in a that
A
hasn't
long
been there in a
time,
minute, in a
you know.
decade, in years, and man, listen.
So I think there's and the funny thing is if you go to their basketball page,
Yeah,
I don't even see the Derrick Rose shoes. I mean, I'm scrolling the whole page and I still don't see a D Rose shoe on there. I am pretty much at the bottom of the page. I see old Dame shoes, old Donovan Mitchell shoes. He's not even
well,
on the
the thing is it's still a gamble, right? Like
but they're not
it's
even like
it's
selling his shoes.
but that's the thing. You don't want to promote something and then be on the back end of it again.
But
So
they have to make it anyways. They have to make a certain number.
no, yeah, that's for sure. But that doesn't mean that we have to promote it as we do for everybody else or
But
into
I'm
an
looking at adidas.com.
yeah.
It's not even like there.
I mean,
Like
if you
I
type
don't
it in, I'm pretty sure you'll find it. But I think all in all,
he's
I
not it's
still
not even there
adore
under basketball.
I still adore watching D Rose play. Just him helping out Julius Randle bring the Knicks to a place that they've now been unfamiliar in being for X amount of years. I think obviously it's a team sport, right? But at the same time, he's a facilitator. Like that first game he played, um, I forgot
This
who
is
they were.
crazy. They're not even on the basketballs page.
Yeah, I mean it is what
Like,
it is. I mean,
how do you just, like, throw him that kind of shade? The man is not even on the basketball page.
listen, when you got money, you can do whatever you please. That's what I found out. If you
No,
got
but,
money,
like,
you can do whatever
why
you
aren't they
please.
trying to sell them? Like, if you go to just men's basketball, he's not even there.
Yeah,
I just
Hmm.
don't understand it.
that's
The
a
whole
good
thing.
that's a good question. I don't know.
Like, I just went to shoes, men's, he's not even there. I don't
When
know.
it
The whole thing just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, that also goes to tell, like, I guess since it's the playoffs, they're not really promoting most players
But
either,
why? He's in the
because
playoffs.
because when you look at Zion was up there, right? And now it's just crickets. Maybe
But
it's
there's a
because of the
difference.
playoffs,
Derrick Rose is actually in the playoffs in one of the largest markets in the world.
but then you also have other basketball players that have, I don't want to say have done more, but is making a bigger statement in the playoffs.
But it's your own personal website. Why would you not promote him?
I don't know. You got to
On
ask
your
Adidas about that. I
on
don't
your
work for
own
Adidas.
website that you pay $0 for. $0. You don't even like have his shoes on there. It makes no sense. This whole thing is like remarkable. And then you click on drop downs for athletes. They only have Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, and Dame Lillard. They don't even list him under athletes when you're under athletics. I went under men's, basketball, athletic and sneakers, shoes, athletes. They don't even
Well,
name it.
maybe. So does that entail that maybe he doesn't have a contract with them anymore?
No, he does, because if you search on the website, you just type in Rose,
Yeah.
his shoes show up. You actually have to type in Rose on the website. Like
Yeah.
that.
I don't know. I can't begin to tell you.
I mean, Adidas, you can hire me, just pay me that cheddar, because they're selling a ton of his shoes, by the way. There's a ton of them for sale. But they're
Sheesh.
not even on the basket, but they're listed under basketball. I don't know.
Yeah,
Adidas,
man.
hire me. I will fix this. I'm probably cheap compared to what you pay everybody else. I don't know. But man, this is just astonishing. I don't
I
know. I
cannot.
got things, but Trey Young, shoes, I'm here for it. I want to hear more. Well, I guess we might as well just keep the parlay going of players who are in the playoffs, because we got our possible first look at the Giannis Zoom Freak 3. You want my hot take first, or you want to go?
You can go. You can go.
This is the first Zoom Freak I'm okay with. Now, keep in mind the first two and take everything into account. Now, this may not be it, but this looks more universal than the other ones. You hate it, don't you? I see your face. Now, keep in mind how much we disliked the first one, because we said the Nike swoosh was too big. We complained about it wrapping around the back. We complained all the things that we complained about in the past. They have now fixed, and yet I still see that face saying, "Ooh, child, you don't like it." But they addressed all the things we hated.
Just put me in a coffin now. So are you ready for me?
Oh, yeah, give me a
Can
hot
I go
take.
now?
Oh, yep,
So
yep.
so this shoe to me is just a low version of the Kyrie signature shoe. You got the strap. You got a similar colorway that actually just dropped. So when people hear this episode, there's a colorway similar to this of the Kyrie that just dropped with concepts. And
No, this is the whole the model of the style of it is much different. Kyrie's has a very slimmed down toe.
nah, it reminds me of a different uniformed Kyrie. I guess I could retract my statement and say a different uniformed Kyrie. When do colorways become
No, but the
similar?
The
to
aesthetic,
signature shoes.
the aesthetic is different.
Right. I just retracted my statement,
All
and
right,
I
all right.
said it's a little bit different. But what
Okay.
I'm saying is, why do you need a similar strap to go across the upper toe box? The Kyrie already has that. The check
But
mark that is on the shoe, I like it. It
the
kind of
Kyrie
looks
7
funky to
doesn't
me.
have the Kyrie 7 doesn't have the strap. Which
Right,
Ky are
but
you,
you have Kyrie shoes that have straps, is what I'm trying to say.
yeah, but those are older models. Those aren't the current year. I mean,
Those are still coming out though. You could still compare that to the Kyries that have the straps on.
yeah, but those are
There was a
just like
pair that just released last week.
yeah, but that didn't have a strap. The Concepts one didn't have a strap.
Man, let me see. This is why I hate looking stuff up on episodes, because I'd rather just get into the episode, and then it just, there's a moment of silence because I'm about to put Matt into a coffin, and he's gonna be like, "Oh, I see what you're talking about. You right. You right."
Mhm. I'm looking at all the Kyries, and none of the sevens that I see recently have it.
Well, either way it goes,
So
the
don't
it's still
don't you backpedal. You know
it's
I
still
got you
it.
on the ropes. I'm like Floyd. I got you on the ropes.
Well, the thing is it still looks similar to me. So you can disagree. I'm not saying that you can't, but
I'm not
it
saying
looks
it doesn't.
similar to the shoes that he has.
It does. I'm not saying I disagree in terms of it doesn't look. It looks like one of the pairs, the Kyrie Crepe or whatever they called it, that
I don't remember.
Concepts did. It's like KHE or something. I agree. It looks somewhat similar to that because the little guy has those in kid sizes. But
Hmm.
those were never made in adult sizes. Those were a kids exclusive.
Okay, so are you trying to tell me that there aren't adult sizes that have the similar strap that the Giannis Zoom Freak has?
No, but I'm saying a lot of shoes have straps. KDs have had straps.
Does it not look similar to the Kyrie is what I'm asking. You're getting away from just agreeing. It's so hard for you to agree with me. Just agree so we can move on.
So I will agree that they do have a strap that's similar. I'm not disagreeing about the strap. I'm disagreeing the fact that KDs have had straps for years and nobody cares. KDs had straps way before Kyrie's.
Okay, so if you walk into a store, right, and you didn't know this was a Zoom Freak, and you're so familiar with Kyrie and his shoes, you wouldn't walk into a store and be like, "Oh, I like these Kyries."
No, I would walk in the store and be like, "Oh, I like these KDs.
So
These
you
look
think they
way
look like KDs?
they look way more like a KD than they do a Kyrie."
Mm,
And
okay.
the thing is, the strap is universal. They use that on. It's like when you're building your shoe, they just say, "Hey, here's like 1,000 pieces. Make your shoe." If you take that strap off, it honestly doesn't look anything like any.
It
The
looks
only
it looks so similar, Matt. Just say it looks. It looks not completely identical, but that strap looks like it belongs on a Kyrie shoe because he's used that type of strap before.
but the thing is, he got the strap from somebody else.
No, yeah, I'm not saying
Because
that he didn't,
KD
but
used the strap. So then essentially you're saying whenever anybody had a Kyrie, you're saying, "Oh, look at that. That looks just like a KD."
nobody's ever said that.
But the difference is that's where it started. Or it looks like a PG. Paul George uses a strap. Kyrie
His
uses
shoes
a
are
strap.
garbage. I would never compare
But I'm
anything
saying
to a PG.
the strap is an accessory. It's not the focal point of the shoe.
No, I get that, but what I'm saying is, who's releasing more shoes, Kyrie or KD? Answer that for me. If you
Probably
had to take a guess, if you had to take a guess,
pro- well, the difference is Kyrie does more with partnerships like Concepts, Bodega. KD doesn't
that
do
still
those.
counts. Okay, but that still counts. So who's releasing more?
I bet you Kyrie sells more shoes than KD.
Well, I'm not saying selling. You see more Kyrie shoes than you do KD shoes, correct?
But we also see more because they're more hype. There's a difference.
I don't think
He
Kyrie shoes are hyped at all.
No, but they do collaborations. KD doesn't do collaborations. Kyrie does tons of collaborations. So there's a
Right?
difference. We see more of them because they're collaborations with other brands. We don't see KD's because they're just different colorways.
When I look at Kyrie's shoes, because his are being more promoted than KD's shoes are being promoted. When I walk into a store and I don't know what a Zoom Freak is, and I'm so oblivious to what a Zoom Freak is, if I'm going in, I'm like, oh, these are some nice KDs. When did they come out with these? That's what I'm saying. So y'all can let us know in the comments, tweet us, go to our Instagram page, DM us, whatever. Let us know what y'all think, because this is a good debate right here. I think it looks like similar. I think it looks similar to a Kyrie than it does any other shoe on the market right now.
I think it looks way more like old school KD than it looks like new school Kyrie. And to be honest, it's definitely not like the current year either. So it's
Yeah.
more like a was it a KD 5, maybe KD 7? I can't remember like which one it was. There's been so many. I can't remember which one it is, but there's a KD that I think of that looks identical to that shoe. And I'm not saying every aspect is identical, but there's a lot of parts that look similar, but we can't start saying, "Oh, because it has this, it's a Kyrie." I mean, I think if you take off that strap, very little looks like Kyrie or KD. If you take just the strap off and you look at that shoe, you do not look at that and say that's a Kyrie or a KD.
No, you take that strap off and you look at the Aunt Pearl and you take the strap off of the Aunt Pearl, you would say it's some form, shape of a KD shoe.
Now you're agreeing with me. You're going to KD. You were staunchly saying it was a Kyrie.
Even though there are accessories, if you consider the strap being an accessory, I think it is an accessory. It's an add-on, whatever you want to call it. I think the strap definitely makes or breaks a shoe, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think it's fine, but you were saying this was like hardcore Kyrie. This is not a Kyrie shoe at all.
No, what I'm saying is that they look like a Kyrie shoe is what I'm saying. If I'm looking at both hand in hand, it looks more like a Kyrie than it does a KD.
Yeah,
It looks like a lower version of a Kyrie than a KD.
Yeah, see, I'm like complete opposite. To me, it looks like an old school KD. I mean, I agree with the Aunt Pearl part. I think it does look like an Aunt Pearl, but I just don't think it looks anything like. And the problem is KD. Maybe KD just doesn't care about like collaborations and stuff. But there's definitely a lot of old KDs that. I mean, the KD 4 had a strap. The KD 5, I think, had a strap. The KD 1, I believe, even had a strap. I mean, so many of them have had a strap. He just
Right.
recently kind of got rid of the strap for the most
Yeah.
part. I mean, he still does it, but like there was a lot of times that he just didn't use it. So for me, I'm not going to hate on these. Like, I feel like we complained about the things that they did. They fixed it, and we're still finding things to complain about. Like, and I get that's like kind of like what we do. We just critique things, but at a certain point, we need to be like, hey, you heard people's feedback. These were the things we hated. You listened, you did it, and we still think you're terrible. Like at a certain point, we need to be like, hey, you can't just keep yelling and then just changing the goal line. At a certain point, we need to be like, all right, you listened. Here's ways we could improve this, but we can't just be bashing them for the things that we hated and they actually fixed. They also fixed the sole that we gave them a hard time about.
The
We
sole
gave
on
them
which shoe?
on the one. We didn't really love the sole. This is
Yeah.
a completely different shape.
Yeah.
So I
true.
think there's a lot of things that we screamed and yelled about that if this is true, I think it's actually like they listen to us. Now they're not listening to us, but they're listening to somebody. I'm sure we're not the only ones that complained about it. But I feel like at least we need to be like, hey, you sort of listened. But let's let people weigh in on who's right on this one. Is it Johnny or is it me? We'll put a Twitter poll out when we put this up, and we'll leave it for like a week so people can like all like weigh in. You can find what is it? Was it sneaker closet? What is our Twitter? Sneaker closet?
Oh my
SNKR.
gosh.
It's
It's been that long?
SNKR closet. I don't. They're all different. I can't keep up.
Yeah.
Sneaker closet. We'll put a poll up there for the week. We want to get everybody's thoughts.
And
Is it a
if you guys
KD
follow
or a
me,
Kyrie?
Yeah, if you guys follow me on Instagram, there's a link in the bio as well as a link in Matt's bio to our Twitter page and our
Yeah.
YouTube page as well. So
Yeah. So hit us up. Let us know. Johnny's crazy. Last one other thing I want to talk about is, and I've been a supporter of this collab since it started, was the Jaden Smith. I'm kind of
okay.
here. I'm here for it. I feel like he cares. Like, I actually don't have anything negative to say. He just. I mean, I've watched him talk on other things, and he seems well informed. He seems like he cares. He's very like you know like he cares about the environment, the materials. It seems very meticulous.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here for his newest model of the Vision Racer that I think he puts a lot of time into the things we always harp on is the details. And it seems like he pays attention to those things. You know, I don't actually have anything negative to say, and I really didn't have much, and I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. It's not going to be for everyone. People are going to hate it. Some people are going to love it. But I also try to remove myself from the base of my personal opinions and look at what goes into making the shoe. Because I think what goes into making it and the blood, sweat, and tears is just as important as how it makes us feel.
No, that's true.
And to me, I think this is a perfect fit with New Balance. I love the fit. And B, I think this is actually a really good shoe. It seems like they have the glow in the dark sole, but everything seems like it flows. It's unique. And it's almost as though they're going into like high fashion. It feels if you took off the New Balance logo and Balenciaga released this, we wouldn't know the difference. That's just my opinion. I think if this had Balenciaga branding and they pushed this out in the same way, same marketing, this would sell for a G. And people would buy it.
Some of his drops have actually sold out in
All of them
various
have.
places.
You actually
Yeah.
can't get any of them. I actually tried to
So
cop a pair to support it.
I think looking at this one out of all of the ones that he has dropped, I think the pink one definitely does it for me because it's, believe it or not, even though pink does really pop for a lot of people, I find this one to be a little bit more subtle. Maybe it's just the pictures because a lot of pictures don't
It's like
do
a
them
fuchsia.
justice.
It's not a bright
Yeah,
pink,
but
it's more like a fuchsia.
I think it's pretty dope, honestly. Um,
I'm here
just
for it.
using recyclables and things of that sort. I think we need to be more wary about how we do those type of things and not just put stuff in a recycling bin and hope that it goes to the recycling center, right? Because
Yeah.
we don't really know where that stuff goes. And um the more he does research, I think the more he's gonna reform or rework his shoes into being maybe a whole different aesthetic. I think what he's doing right now, when he did the what was it, just water that came in like that carton box, that was super dope. His dad promoted him as well. That was super cool. And
He, like, genuinely cares though, like, you know people
yeah,
when they go on those
yeah.
things and they talk about it, and it just feels forced, like their publicist put him out? When I watch his
Mhm.
stuff, I actually believe his passion. He seems well informed, he seems like he cares, and to be honest, that's important.
Yeah.
I think that is important that people actually care. It's a fuchsia color. It's got a lot of things that I'm just
It-
here for. I find it the recycle thing I have a hard time with because I don't know what the environmental impact of like Nike pushes these things that are all made out of recycled materials, but like what does that really mean? Does it mean like what if they don't last as long? Or like what is the footprint of making these shoes? Does it use more chemicals to keep the plastic together, or like how is it actually made? Using recycled materials is kind of vague for me. Like I'm here for it if you can explain why it's beneficial. Don't just keep throwing out made out of recycled materials. Like, yeah, that's cool, but how is it making a difference? Like, tell me how you currently. The problem is they probably don't want people knowing how they currently make shoes.
That is true.
So, yes, it's out of, but is that better? How much better for the environment is it? If you're just saying that and it's actually like a based on, wear testing and things, they don't last as long, so it actually puts more in landfills. Like, is it still going to end up there in a shorter period of time? Like, I want to know how it's actually making a difference instead of just putting out, those LinkedIn like words that you hear people throwing in meetings like synergistic integration. I don't care about that. Like, I want to know how it's making a difference. And I believe that it does, but I want to know outside of the stupid gimmicky things, I want to know how it's making a difference. That's what I want to know.
I think most of these companies, what they should do, because you see on the Adidas app, on the Confirmed app, on the Sneakers app, you have Kick Check, you have this comic book that's running on the Sneakers app, you have models on each platform, on the Confirmed app and on the Sneakers app. I think going into one of the things that I liked on the Sneakers app is they showed you how the Mars Yard was put together for sustainability,
And I'm cool
things
with
that
that.
they
I
went
like
through.
that.
The
I
thing
like that.
for the thing for me is if you're creating some of these shoes out of recyclable material, or you're creating the sole out of recyclable material, show and touch upon that. Show what it's doing to the environment, not only just showing how a shoe is made, who's wearing the shoe, who copped the shoe. Somebody in California just posted on Instagram of this shoe and you put it on your platform. Like, show us how a shoe goes from A to Z. Show us the in between, the beginning, the end. Show us exactly how it's beneficial to the environment and to those who are actually able to cop and wear it, versus you're releasing a Air Jordan 1 that is just regular material. You know what I mean? Like, we're all so used to just being able to just see sneakers pop up on the Sneakers app or the Confirmed app or on Instagram and Twitter. But there's some of us that actually like the process. We like to see the process of, we have to start with step A, and how are we going to finish to get to step Z? We need to also show the in betweens and what it actually means to make these shoes, like how it goes through the process to the warehouse to quality control, things of that sort. But like for sustainability and just the environment themselves, when Nike first started this, and well, at when they first did it for themselves, I wanted to see the process. I was like, "Oh, this is a dope shoe." But what is the process that you are taking to actually make these? How is it helping? What type of materials from plastics are you actually using them to generate this sole? Like, is it just water bottles and whatever other plastic is out there, plastic bags, or is it like everything
Adidas
that?
did a good job of that. Adidas did a good job with the parlays of doing a good job of explaining it. So to your point, some brands have
Yeah.
done that.
Yeah, but I mean on a frequent basis, you know what I mean? If this is something that you as a company are trying to move towards, I kind of want to see that. I want to see that more than just seeing, oh, somebody in Florida just posted a picture of them standing on a wall with their shoe out in front of them. Like, I don't want to see that all the time. Like, it's dope, it's cool, you got the shoe, you took a nice flick, but I want to see, like, what does the shoe mean to you? You know what I mean? Like, how was the shoe made? What recyclable materials are you using? What materials are you using for regular shoes? That's what I
Yeah.
want to see.
No, I'm here. I hear you. I like that. And one last thing I do want to talk about, because clearly this is a top 5 shoe for me, and there's still nothing confirmed, and my guess is it's going to be a shock drop. I'm not going to get it. There's going to be some crying involved. Is the LeBron 8 South Beach. It's clearly coming. We've seen like quasi official photos. Nothing from Nike. There's this guy who's like a leaker. I follow him on, I think, Twitter. Brandon like one, and like I'm assuming it's Brandon Ian. So check him out. He seems to leak and have a lot of good stuff. Brandon, then the number 1, and then AN. Check him out on Twitter. And he was saying sometime this month. This month is coming to a close. There's only a few days left. Could it drop any day? Who knows?
LeBron watch. LeBron watch.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's something like you said, on a day that there's a Lakers game, they drop. I miss it. 11 and a half for anybody who's out there and loves me. Andrew, my guy, hooked me up with the Grinches, which is one of my all-time favorites as, when I was younger. This again is one of my all-time favorites. Um,
I mean,
did you know I didn't know a single person that had these or the Grinches back then? Did you? I didn't know a single person that copped the
not
OG
that I,
pairs. I
yeah,
wonder what
no,
the original numbers were because I don't remember a single person that had them.
yeah,
And I don't believe people would have slept on these because these were huge when they first came out. I remember them.
yeah. I
So,
don't think so. I don't think
um,
I knew anyone that
so
had
keep
them.
an eye out depending on when this goes out. And we'll try to get this out ASAP so people can hopefully cop these. But there's been chatter that it's supposed to be coming. The month's coming to an end. Still no signs. I don't know if shops have them. I'll have to, reach out and ask if any shops have even gotten them. Haven't reached out to any of our people lately. But as Johnny said at the beginning of the episode, stuff's opening. Do us a favor, do everybody a favor. Go and support your local shops. They need the support now more than ever. We're starting to get out. Even if you're just buying a pair of generic shorts, just a pair of crisp Uptown, like just you're getting anything, just getting some crispy white Air Forces, just get something local. Help these shops because they have been closing left and right. And do it for the kids that haven't grown up and had the chance to walk into a shop like we did when we were kids. That was a big part of my childhood, and it wasn't just Foot Lockers. I walked into local shops that 90% of them don't even exist anymore. So make
It's
sure just
true.
buy something, even just go in there and buy a pack of socks. Like just get something. I know it doesn't seem like it's a lot of money, but everything helps. Go there, buy something, keep them open. I'm rocking anybody who can see, I got my AWOL shirt on. My guys over there, they're always cruising, always, doing what they can in Boston. So, if you can, go do something. Enjoy this nice spring weather. And Johnny,
What I got,
you got anything else for the people before we go?
all I, all I gotta say is I came across a comment on Twitter, man, and I don't think it was directed at us, because if anything is ever directed at us, we ask that y'all, we're always up for a debate. We always want to have a discussion, but I found it funny. Someone stated that some podcasters, some sneaker podcasters want to be pastors, um, activists, and things of that sort. We are no way, shape, or form a pastor, a ministry, um, activists. We just care about the community. We just try to talk as much as possible on sneakers, but there's also real life things that are going outside on the world, you know what I mean? And sometimes a peace of mind can be sneakers for other people, and other times it's like, okay, somebody else is going through something that I'm going through. So we're always here. I know sometimes, Matt always tells me, nah, I don't think we should talk about that because we got scolded, but I'm always the one that gets scolded, which I'm fine with. If I could just say my piece on a whole bunch of things that I see that are going outside in the world, I'm always there. I'm always standing behind somebody, because I didn't have a lot of people that were standing behind me when I was going through stuff. You know what I mean? So as always, if you guys ever need someone to talk to, feel free to hit us up, man. And it's always a pleasure talking to you guys on Twitter, on Instagram, things of that sort. But for me, as always, you guys can find me on Instagram, Twitter, MySpace, all that at Johnny Sneaks, JohnnySneaks, and Zoom Freak Kyrie Matt. Where are we finding you, my brother?
Well, I got to defend myself first of all because you're saying I'm saying to stay away from topics, which that's never my game. If there's something
I'm
wrong,
not saying stay away from topics. It's just trying to stay away from the backlash and not talk too much
no, I
about a
don't care
certain
about
thing.
the backlash. If somebody's racist, I don't want them listening. We
Oh no,
like
that's a
we
fact.
we've said that in the past. Like
Yeah.
I was a strong proponent of standing up for those things. Like if we lose a bunch of people who are just straight up racist, I don't want them as listeners. I could care less. I don't. I I just try to be well informed, and there's certain aspects of topics that I don't believe I should jump into unless we're well informed on it. There's certain things that I don't think everything needs to be politicized or brought up. I think there's certain things that we have a moral obligation to. I think there's certain aspects that there's a right and a wrong side of history, and I don't want to be a part of the wrong side of history. But I think there's also things that I don't think it's my place to speak. If for some reason there's like sometimes there's not always the best place for the tall white guy to come in and say something. I think there's a time and a place for it's knowing your place of when to say something. And if I'm not well informed enough, I'd rather leave it to somebody who's a leader in that and let them do the talking, because I think sometimes it's just a lot of noise. So if I'm going to talk about something and we talk about something, I care that we pass on the right information, because if somebody for some reason gets any news or any hot take from us, I want it to be what's in the best interest of like the community, not only the sneaker community, but just the worldwide community. I think there's a time and a place for everything, and I think sometimes my words just they shouldn't be there. You know, there's a time where my voice just isn't needed.
No, I feel that. I feel that.
So, and I actually never look at those comments. Those things don't bother me at all. I actually never look at them. But hey, I appreciate the comment. So the sermon will be on Thursday at 7. No, I'm just kidding. Nobody would come. If I was a preacher, nobody would listen to me. My wife doesn't even listen to me. But as always, you can find me. I am Matt Roach. Appreciate you guys. We'll be back next week. Peace.
New pairs that I gotta get. Welcome to the sneaker closet. New pairs that I gotta get. Welcome to the sneaker closet. New pairs that I gotta get. Welcome to the sneaker closet. New pairs that I gotta get. Welcome to the sneaker closet.